Anxious to play this game. The last game, we've kind of, like I said, Tuesday press conference, we've kind of put the last one behind us, and I've been working on this one for a couple of days, and you can't start too early when you're playing for Tennessee. Going to go down to play Tennessee. I mean, I found out the other day how much money we got paid to play this game, so I know why we're playing this game, but there's always a chance. It's public record, I think.
I honestly don't know.
Pretty sure it is.
I'm sure it is.
One of my coaches told me, so I'm not going to say, so maybe I spoke off base, but I thought they got it just from an article. But that being said, this is a really good football team. You don't know whether you're happy that they lost or sad that they lost, because they have a much improved football team from last year. They were undefeated. They played their biggest rival in a critical game where they've lost 6 in a row, and they lost a tough game in the second half. A couple of things just went wrong back to back to back, and it got away from them real quick while they were ahead with 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter. They were winning the football game. Very talented team. We're going to have to just, like I say, we have no illusions. We believe that always we can win this football game. You don't have to talk about once in a decade or once every 10 years. Every week, whether it be Monroe or Western Kentucky, every week a team beats another team that it's not supposed to beat. And like I told our players, there's absolutely no reason why that shouldn't be us. And so we will go in with all of our plans to play our very best football game and see how we can do. I think things have to go right. They're a better, much more talented team than us, and they have a lot more athletic ability than we do, in size than we do, and speed than we do. So maybe they got Georgia next week. Maybe they'll be thinking about Georgia. After I know a little bit about the SEC. If you're at Tennessee, Alabama always came first, but then it was Florida and Georgia, and we're in between those two. But it's going to be exciting. I told our players, if you're not ready to go out there and slap it on and get after it, don't get on the plane, because it's a very intimidating home environment. Just the way the stadium is enclosed, there's no open end, very, very, very loud, and their fans are very rowdy, and they're all over the place. When you get there on a bus, you'll go through thousands of them, and so it'll be a great atmosphere. If we don't need a bunch of wide-eyed guys out there. Healthy, Dalton Williams practiced today. Will absolutely play Saturday. There's absolutely no way you can take him out of this game. He wouldn't let it. I don't know if he's hurt and he won't show it, because if he shows it, I might be playing. But he got a little banged up. He looked really good in everything we did today. Tomorrow we'll probably go everything with him. Just he backed off a little bit today, so we didn't do too much. And but he'll be ready to go on Saturday.
Did they say just what it was? Is it a bruise?
No, I mean, it's a bruise, but I don't know. It's below the ribs, and I don't know exactly if there's a muscle between the hip and the rib. No, it's above the rib. It's not the hip. I got to feel it's a little bit in the rib area or something, but it's not if they don't feel like there's any. I've had them. If you've ever had a cracked rib or a separated cartilage between them, that's very. So those two are not there. So she still can get hit there and cause some pain. So anyway, it hit him on top of the flak jacket, so it didn't hit him in between. So like I say, he was just get pretty good there. And like most of our guys, when you worry about having something happen that would just crush your year, you tend to make sure you're cautious at that point in the game. He was very concerned that it was more than that it might be something more, and so we took a lot of precautions at first.
Ultimately, when you win, which is good, obviously, and you beat kind of an outman team like that. I mean, ultimately, when you look back, what do you take most from a game like that?
Well, I mean, we have to learn from a game like that, and we dressed it about how do we use that game. Obviously, from a morale factor, it's very good, and for a lot of players to play. But if we were playing a team in our conference or a team a lot better, we left 17 points on the board in the first half. We had a fumbled snap. Caden's snap twice. One of them that went right to the tailback was not designed. The other one to the quarterback, and he fumbled. They fumbled just a center. They're not communicating well. He's checking off and yelling stuff to other people, and the center's mistaking that for a cadence, and so they've got to correct that. but that stopped 7 points, and then we threw an interception on a play we shouldn't have thrown. That's 14 more. Then we missed a field goal that we shouldn't have missed, and we had a penalty in there in that drive that kept us from even going a little closer. So there's 17 points that we left on. So here we are, 21-6 in a game we could have been 38-6, playing our subs early in the third quarter. You play a better team, you won't get those chances to make up. So here we are. We've got to learn to do everything right and continue to execute. And so now we came out second half and really poured it on. That's what we had to do. But there was that we can't wait until the second half against a good team, Tennessee or anybody in the future. So we try to learn from it. But I'm still awful proud of how fast our defense is starting to really understand about pursuit to the ball and how important it is to go as fast as you can and play with great intensity and speed on the football field. And I'm just pleased. I believe even though it was a team that we were superior to, that we continue to get better each week.
I mean, you had awful lot of guys catch passes.
Mm-hmm.
With Andrew Pratt getting 2 TDs and Dillard and everything
Right.
else. I mean, that was good.
Well, we have two set. We have 4 receiver formations. We have 2 sets, and they're all pretty solid guys. Now you put either behind LT you got Amani Davis and Pratt. Behind I'm sorry, you got you got Amani Davis and no, you got Amani Davis and Pratt. The other side you got Terrell Goodman and Dillard. Then in the inside you still got Tyler Williams and D. Friesen behind Durazio and Mark Quello. So it's a nice that they're going to rotate, and so we threw some to our tight ends as well. And so if you're going to play as fast as we're playing, you cannot play one group. And the question is it going to be 6-2 or 4-4 or whatever it is, the rotation? And so usually we tell our first teamers, you go in till you get tired, you just bring yourself out, and the backup will be watching you every play, and he'll go in. Then as we go through and they're playing better, they can say, okay, go 4-4, if it's close, but and they're always. But anyway, so I'm glad that a lot of people catch the ball, a lot of different people. You can't focus on one, and I think our back a couple of catches as well. We're still getting the ball to our back out of the backfield so that everybody is touching the ball. Good job of our quarterbacks of reading their options.
And one more point on that, Keen Lawrence apparently decided he was going to play. Or
well, you know what, he had to get a shot because he pain shot,
okay.
which the doctors have to approve, and he's young, and that's kind of sounds, it's like going to the dentist. I have to get a shot, but because he didn't practice very much, we weren't going to play. If he felt well at the end and wanted to play, we surely needed to get him some work. So we played him. We wouldn't have played him if he didn't want to play or didn't feel good, because we had the game in hand, and Quentin Hines, deserves to get some opportunity too.
You had a lot of second, third teamers in there, guys that don't play. Any of those guys look good to you, jump up and impress you that they may be more than you thought they were?
Well, let's go to the defense side of the ball. I'm just trying to think where they get a little help. And Rossi gave us a little help. He's got to play more. He's a guy that's an overachiever. He picked up a fumble and turned it for a touchdown, but he was a fullback last year. And he can spell some of those guys and did a real good job, and that's important. Is it Robert Davis, our defensive tackle, who's doesn't overwhelm you with his size, but he plays very, very well. Got to give Capone he's got to give Capone to real well, and he got to give Capone and Cody some break there. I thought he did real well, and I don't have all my charts, but offensively, I think Rizzo playing some guard helped us, because there he can play center and he can play guard. That helps us with Pugsley being banged up, and that allows us to move Brumbaugh out to a tackle instead of using Quentin Quazon. Is it Quazon?
Quazon Osborne.
Quazon. I hate to say his name wrong. Quazon is a true freshman, not using him as much. So I'd say Rizzo coming on the offensive line, that'll help us to give us some sub. Quazon did a good job as a backup there, because Pugsley's still banged up, and we've got to just give him some break, because he can't go all full time on that.
What you think of Kyle Pohl? Just coming in and
That's another name I didn't mention. Yeah, I mean, we did a great job, 7 of 10. But just see, he is so relaxed back there in the pocket. You know, that's what you'd like to start with. And just 7 of 10. He didn't overthrow people. He kind of put things on the mark pretty good.
Yeah.
And I was really pleased with that. When you're trying to build a program and everything's tight, your backups don't get a lot of work, you know, and so you need chances for them to get in. So it was good to see him get in and play a little bit.
Would you envision him getting some action down in Tennessee?
You know, I don't. If we're in a ball game, we got to win the ball game. Our number one guy is Dalton, and so he has to always be ready. Kyle has to always be ready. You know, if Dalton were to go down at any point for whatever reason, for a play or 5 plays or a quarter or whatever, Kyle is ready to go. You know, he's ready. He's ready to run the. He's ready to play, and so he's got to be on. He's got to be ready to go. But we don't have plans. We don't have plans to put him in third series or anything like that.
What's your impressions, if you've seen him on film or on TV, of Tyler Bray so far?
Yeah, very gives
a
it really
thrower he is.
Really gives him a chance. He's got that NFL arm and size, and he really gives them a chance to be very good on offense when they mix that play action pass and deep ball in with their running attack. And everything was going well, like I said, until about the third quarter. They were up by 7 with about 3.5 minutes left, and then I think more of the defensive breakdowns. Florida had some skilled people that made some big plays, and their quarterback did a great job as well, you know, and made a huge play on a touchdown pass that was just phenomenal play, and got them back in the game. So it was Will Muschamp is one of my graduate assistants at Auburn, so I'm always anxious to watch him go. And he was a safety at Florida, at Georgia back when I coached against him. He was a really good walk-on, turned scholarship, turned captain. And I hired him as a GA when he got through playing at Georgia. It was good to see him play well too. But Tennessee, what you see is athletics people. It's SEC size people, and it's incredible. I mean, the nose guard goes, I think, 6'7", 360 pounds. The kids can run, you know. The kids can run. I mean, our kids are running real hard to the ball. Our linebackers are 205, 207, 225. Theirs are 240, 245, 240. And our linemen run the ball real well. 275, 276, 226 on the end, 257. Theirs are 280, 365, 320. They're huge. It's just a different size. So we've got to go out there and just take them on head to head and keep pounding at them.
Coach, when you talk about the size differential and obviously a talent differential, you've been on the other end of that. The big schools playing the smaller school or behind major playing the mid-major, when you use basketball terminology. Do you think the competitive balance of college football and the financial balance will ever change, where we won't have to see, or would you want to see your Akrons not playing your Tennessees, or would you like to be able to play in an ideal world for Florida Internationals that are pretty close to where you are in the program? What is your long-range view?
I don't think it'll ever change. It's close, but it's not going to get a whole lot closer. It's just I can show you from top to. You can take the SEC by itself and wait till you see Alabama and LSU. I mean, they've got their haves and have-nots in that conference, from top to bottom, and so I think there'll always be those. I don't want it to get to some elite top 75 teams in America forming an elite 1A football, because you take your previous BCS conferences, and if they were to say, let's just play each other and take all the money and play out with our ball, that would eliminate the possibilities for a lot of other people, because they have a bigger financial base. And so I think there'll always be different levels, and there'll always be upsets. So, and you still got to win it on the field. You still got to go out and prove yourself. And without a doubt, the MAC conference is probably is about as sure of itself and who it is as any conference in America. When it comes, and we don't think we're that, we don't wonder about being this. I think the MAC conference has a clear understanding of what it wants to be, and is very, very good at it, at being the MAC conference. And so the more I'm around it, the more I understand the value of having a group of teams that work together and universities that work together and have a very, very well thought out, from budget to organization to playing each other to having a chance to knock off a Penn State or a Tennessee or whatever. It's all part of our deal, you know. So it works out real well. But don't think it'll ever get. I don't know. It's all that far apart. If you get good solid people leading and bringing in good solid players. I don't know that it's as far from the bottom to the top, but there'll always be differences.
You recall, I'm sure you do, because all coaches remember, your 2 games against Tennessee?
Oh, like it was yesterday. I mean, 97 was their better team, the best team that I thought they've had in my lifetime, with Peyton Manning, Jamal Lewis, handing it off to Jamal Lewis, Peerless Price, and the other receiver was another NFL receiver. Several offensive linemen, tight end was a pro, maybe 6 guys on the defense were drafted, and they didn't. And we almost beat them. They threw a short pass to Peerless Price, and he turned it into a 60-yard touchdown run or something like that late in the game, and beat us by 2 or 3. And the next year when they won the national championship with T. Martin at quarterback, we played them at home, and we had put an option attack in that week that we'd never run, and we were, I don't want to say it was 16-9 or whatever. It was really a close ball game. We were on top of them early and played them pretty good, but I lost my quarterback and center of that game, and it was but we gave them a good game. They went on to win the national, beat my father for the national championship. So that Phil Fulmer was really, they were at their peak, really 96, 97, 98. They were really at their peak in their program, and we had great. That's the only team I've not been fortunate enough to be a part of a winning team against in that conference. It's Tennessee. I've not been, but we didn't play them, but 2 out of every 8 years. But we didn't win those either 2. Those were the 2 of their best years, and we lost to them. I only played them one of those 2. One was an SEC championship game, wasn't a regular season game. And the very next year, we started our 2-year. That was my last year there. But it's a great place. Coach Fulmer did a great job there, and did a great job with that program. And now Derek Dooley has a great program over there too, and they're trying to get back. They've been trying to get back since Coach Fulmer retired. They've been trying to get back to that level.